commands, get out, or exclamation mark, not you again, exclamation mark. All sentences contain a verb, doing word. Statements always contain a subject and a verb. The gorilla ate. You could add an object, the thing to which something is done. The gorilla ate a grape.
Well done, Musreen. Very good reading. Good lad. So let's go on to part 3 and part 4 as well. I'll come back to you, Musreen, in a few minutes, okay? Good reading. Well done. And let's go to Barbara. So Barbara, you can continue the reading for me.
Hello.
Hi, Barbara. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Can you just read part 3, 4, and 5, Barbara, please?
Okay, sure. Compound and complex sentences are a little more complicated. Compound sentences join two simple ones. The gorilla ate a grape and went to sleep. Complex sentences include a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. The gorilla, tiring of our chess game, ate a grape. Complex sentences are easier to follow if you identify the main clause. The bit that makes no sense on its own, in green above. An implied meaning is one which is hinted at. Nobody kept Mr. Big waiting. They valued their health. Themes are open to interpretation. Different readers see different ideas in a piece of writing, or at least rank them differently. For example, you could see the main theme of The Lord of the Rings as good versus evil, greed versus self-sacrifice, or loyalty versus treachery.
Very good. Okay, good reading. So let's just quickly go through this and I'll explain a few more concepts in detail and then we'll start answering the questions as well. Okay. So first of all, in terms of meaning and themes, so the meaning of a text is what the writer intends to say, and its themes are underlying ideas explored. Now, we did some of this work before, if you remember, so there's a slight overlap with some of the work that we actually did before with another topic before this. Meanings of words you can find in dictionaries, fair enough. You also need to make senses of sentences as well. And you may have to read between the lines sometimes. And that's because nothing always makes sense when you read it first time round. You have to sometimes read behind the lines. So for example, when you do English poetry, you have to read behind the lines. When you do English literature, and if you haven't done it so far, you will be doing it very shortly in Key Stage 3 as well. The underlying, to understand sentences, it helps to know how they're constructed. Sentences can be commands, can be exclamations, like a surprise element, and they could have different structures to them as well. So all sentences contain a verb, which is a doing word. Statements always contain a subject and a verb. So for example, the example question here, which says the gorilla ate, the gorilla is the subject and the verb is the doing word ate. You could add an object. So for example, the gorilla ate a grape. The gorilla is the subject and grape is actually, ate is the verb, gorilla is the subject, and grape is the object, okay? So compound and complex sentences is a little more complicated. So compound sentences join two simple sentences together, all right? So whenever you come across compound words, just remember what is a compound word and what is a compound sentence. They're very similar. So the gorilla ate a grape and went to sleep. So what is the compound word there? The compound word is and, because it joins two sentences together. And that's how you get a compound sentence, because you've got two sentences joined together. Complex sentences include a main clause and one more subordinate clause. The main clause is the main part of the sentence that needs to make sense for you to understand and gain the important part of this information. So the gorilla, tiring of our chess game, ate a grape. So what's the main clause here? So the main clause here is the gorilla ate a grape. The bit in the middle that says tiring of our chess game, that's a subordinate clause. And that's the secondary part of the sentence that even if you didn't know, it wouldn't make a difference. And an implied meaning is one which is hinted at. So nobody kept Mr. Big waiting. That implies that Mr. Big was some sort of maybe a gangster, maybe a troublemaker. And that's why it says nobody kept Mr. Big waiting if they valued their health. So if you valued your own health and you worried about yourself and you didn't want to make Mr. Big angry, then that's an implied sentence. But did you understand that sentence first time round when you read it? That's where the implied section comes in. So there's a hidden meaning behind a certain sentence. So themes are open to interpretations. Different readers see different ideas in a piece of writing, or at least rank them differently. For example, you could see the main theme of The Lord of the Rings as good versus evil. We went through this, I think, in one of the questions that we did last week as well. So every type of book or maybe a movie that you watch could be a certain implication or a theme in there. All right. So these are just the basic parts of the content. So let's go through some of the questions now in detail. Let's have a look at the first question, which is what are complex sentences? Let's go to Meda for this one. So we're looking at complex sentences here. Hi, Meda.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Okay. Can't see you.
Wait. Yeah.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Are you okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're looking at complex sentences. What are complex sentences?
A complex sentence includes a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses.
Okay. So complex sentences include a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. So we're going for C?
Yes.
Okay, well done. Good girl. Let's do one more, Meda, as you're here. So which is the main clause in the following sentence? So what's the main clause in this following sentence? Yeah, so just wait for me until I tell you to mute, okay?
Okay, thank you. A.
That's right.
A.
A. So the man burst into tears. That's correct.
Yeah.
Well done. Good
Do I have
stuff.
to do another one?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is the main clause in the... So I'll go this one as well to somebody else straight after.
Cats hate with getting their feet wet.
Cats hating to get their feet wet. Try one more time.
No. B. Cats avoid water if possible.
If that makes sense, yeah. So cats avoid water if possible. Hating to get their feet wet, that's not important in this part. So the main clause is cats avoid water if possible. Well done, Nina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. And let's go to Alexandra for this next one.
Hi.
Alexandra, are you okay?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Let's read this question. What meaning is implied in the following sentence? So what meaning is implied in the following sentence?
Men are like children.
Men are like children. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're right. So
Yeah.
men do like to play toys, and the implication here is that men are like children, so well done for that. Let's do one more, Alexandra. So, what meaning is implied in the following sentence again? Let's have a look at this.
Okay.
Take your time.
Um, D.
D, let's have a look. So the holiday was not a good idea. So as the rhino charged, I wondered if this holiday had been a good idea. I would go for that one, Alexandra. I would also find that this particular implied part of this sentence is that the holiday was not a good idea, I'm afraid. Okay. Well done. Thank you for that, Alexandra. Just mute yourself. Well done. And let's go to Sahil for the next one. Hi, Sahil.
Hello.
Hi there. So, Sahil, which one of the following could be a theme? So, we were looking at different examples of themes and what they actually meant as well. So, which one could be an example of a theme here?
D. Friendship.
Why do you think it's going to be D, friendship?
Because like
You're not wrong, by the way. Your answer is right.
I don't know how to explain it.
Because I'll tell you what, you know, shoes, is that a subject? A gorilla? A tree? Yeah, these are nouns, aren't they? Whereas friendship is like it's like a subject. It's like a theme in itself by itself. And a story on friendship, for example, is a theme. So friendship in this case will be the answer we'll go through, because the other words on the list that we had were all nouns. Next one is, which one of the following could be a theme? Thank you, Sahil. Thank you for that. Let's go to Mursaleen again for this one.
Betrayal.
Betrayal. Why do you think it's betrayal, Mursaleen?
Because as you said in the example, the Lord of the Rings is things that like an abstract.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and have you watched Lord of the Rings?
No.
You never seen it? Okay. Have you seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like Harry Potter, but different in the sense that it was a long time ago, and there were different competing armies who were actually fighting each other. So telephone, a map, and a clock are all nouns because they're names of things, whereas betrayal is a theme in itself, and there could be a story on this as well. So you're right about that. Well done. Let's just do one more just to warm you up. What are the 4 types of sentences according to structure? What are the 4 different types of sentences according to structure? Okay, let's go to Elena for this one.
Hello.
Hi, Elena. So we're looking at 4 different types of sentences according to structure.
Is it D?
So simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and complex compound sentences. That's right. These are different 4 types of sentences that we have. Well done. And the next one, how does the narrator suggest the gunman's relationship with the baby? And just read that for me, please, Elena, that text, the green text.
Okay. Inside the box was a sack. Sham leaned down and opened it up. The baby was horrible. It was bright red and its blue eyes were all puffy and wet and red. When it saw us, it started jerking and twitching and going redder and redder, but it couldn't cry because it had a piece of tape over its mouth. That's my baby, the gunman smiled. My little treasure. Sham reached down to pick it up, but he shook his gun and said, leave it, fiercely. They need to be held, said Sham. There was a funny moment. The man nodded sharply. Sham reached in and picked it up.
Well done. So what do we think there, Lena? So how does the narrator suggest the gunman's relationship with the baby? So the gunman's relationship with the baby.
I'm not sure. I just found that quite confusing.
Sure, let's look at some keywords here very quickly. So
Okay.
he says the baby was horrible. It was bright red and its blue eyes were all puffy and wet and red. When it saw us, it started jerking and twitching and going redder and redder, but it couldn't cry because it had a piece of tape over its mouth. So this person, the gunman, had actually taped the mouth of the baby. And the baby was going redder and redder. That's my baby, the gunman smiled. My little treasure. Sham reached down to pick it up, but he shook his gun and said, leave it, fiercely. They need to be held, said Sham. There was a funny moment. The man nodded sharply. Sham reached in and picked it up. Do you think this baby was the gunman's?
Yeah.
Even though he said, do you really think? What was the gunman doing? He was holding people up with a gun, wasn't he?
Yeah. Is it B?
So let's have a look. So he was holding the people up with a gun,
Yeah.
and it could have been a bank, or could have been a shop. And he was taping people's mouths, including the baby, because the baby was the one that was crying the loudest. Just so the baby didn't make much noise, so that they weren't caught. So because he was going away with this baby, he had covered the mouth with a tape. The gunman is not the baby's father, as he keeps it in very cruel conditions. Even though he says the baby's his treasure, the baby is actually valuable to him in a way because he's just kidnapped the baby. All right. So what do you think that's going to be?
B.
B, yeah. Good. You said B before, but I just wanted to expand on it a little bit more. So well done, Elena. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is what I was saying before about the fact that you have to read behind the lines and also understand the themes and read behind the lines as well. So sometimes you've got to read the text over and over again before it kind of makes sense. Let's go on to question 10. So what was the funny moment in this? What was actually the funny moment? Let's go to Ora for this one. Ira?
Is it B?
B. So the funny moment is when Sham reaches in and picks the baby up. I'm not sure if that's funny. Try one more time. Try one more time. Well, I suppose in a sense, maybe none of it sounds very funny to you. And I wouldn't blame you, because when you find out that the baby's been kidnapped, everything just doesn't seem funny. It just seems very serious. But this is one of those questions which is very difficult to try and gauge into, considering that the passage is so serious. I mean, the one that will be closest, I think, is the last one. Funny moment is while the gunman decides whether he should let Sham touch the baby or not. Because, you know, in the text at the bottom line, can you see the second last line?
Yeah.
It actually says that there was a funny moment. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There you go. So even though there wasn't a funny moment, we're just going by what the text is telling us. Okay. Good. So let's go for D for this one. And the next one, which type of sentence is given below? What type of sentence is that, Hara?
Compound.
Why is it compound?
Because actually, would it?
You're right, but I'm just saying, why is it a compound sentence?
Because it was joining two phrases together.
And it's got the word "and" in the middle.
Yeah.
So gorilla ate a grape and went to sleep. So you've got two sentences joined together there. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Ava. Let's go to the next question. Which type of sentence is given below? So let's go to let's go to Emmett for this one. Just unmute yourself, Emmett. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so which type of sentence is given below, Emmett? The gorilla tiring of a chess game ate a grape.
It's a compound sentence.
It won't be a compound sentence because you've got three elements there. And a compound sentence is only two sentences joined together with a compound word right in the middle. So if I go further up here, Emmett. So complex sentence, if you just look here, follow me. Complex sentence includes a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. So if you look at this question again, what's the main clause in this sentence? If you were just to pick out the main clause.
The gorilla ate a grape.
The gorilla ate a grape. So that's the main clause. And tiring of our chess game in the middle, that's a subordinate clause. So that's not important to us. So that's why this will be called a complex sentence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good lad. And while you're here, where can the basic meaning of words be found, Emmett?
The dictionary.
Dictionary, yes. Good lad, well done. Okay, thank you for that, Emmett. And we're moving on to question number 14 now. So for question 14, what are the four types of sentences according to function? What are the four different types of sentences according to function? Anybody like to volunteer for this? Let's go to Miza.
Hi.
Hi, Miza. Are you right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So all the four different types of sentences according to function. I'll move this up. So D, question, commands, exclamations, and sentences. Yes, statements, sorry, that's right. So we have that information right there, right at the top. So questions, commands, exclamations, and statements are the four different types of sentences that we actually have. Well done. And let's just do this one together as well. Read the following passage and comment on how it shows the narrator's attitude towards the baby, Sham, and the man. So what is the narrator's attitude? Narrator is the person who wrote this passage. What's his or her attitude towards the baby, Sham, and the man? Just have a read of that, please.
Like out loud.
Yes, please.
Inside the box was a sack. Sham leaned down and opened it up. The baby was horrible. It was bright red, and its blue eyes were all puffy and wet and red. When it saw us, it started jerking and twitching and going redder and redder, but it wouldn't cry because I had a piece of tape over its mouth. "That's my baby," the gunman said. "My little treasure." Sham reached down to pick it up, but he shook his gun and said, "Leave it," fiercely. "They need to be helped," said Sham. There was a funny moment. The man nodded sharply. Sham reached in and picked it up. It was twitching and jerking in that horrible way, as if it wasn't human at all. It was a terrible mess. You know what babies are like. It had peed and cramped, and that man hadn't done anything for it. It held out its arms, and Sham cradled it against its chest. It looked awkward, but he seemed to know what he was doing. At last it stopped twitching and began wriggling and nuzzling into Sham, making soft, choking little cries.
Good. Okay, so we're trying to work out what the narrator's attitude is. So this particular question was an open question where you could just type in your answer. So I would say so hopefully you can see me typing this out. This is just a small phrase that I've just written down. I mean, some of you have longer answers in this, which is fine. So I particularly think that the narrator thought that the baby is discussing and also sympathetic too. But having said that, in terms of the other people there on top, what about Sham and the man? What do you think he thought about Sham and the man, Amazon? Are you there? Oh, you muted yourself. Okay. Let me just mute you quickly.
I thought that when the gunman was holding the baby, the baby didn't like it, the gunman, because it could just tell by how it was speaking to it. But then when Sham holded the baby, and after a few seconds, the baby got used to Sham, and it realized Sham was like a nicer person than the gunman. And then it just sort of calmed down a bit.
Yeah. So you know there's implied information here. Do you remember the implied information that we did at the bottom? Number 4, an implied meaning is one which is hinted at something.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong or right answer. It's logically how you actually come up with a meaning behind it. So everything has an implication meaning. And that's what all of you need to get used to, is to actually go deep into detail with English literature and English language, because we're all doing Key Stage 3 work now, and open up your minds and horizons and really dig deep and explain things. It's all about explanation. Explanation is what it's all about. That's what we need to do. We need to explain things thoroughly, what everything means. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or right. It's your opinion, and that's what the examiner is actually looking for. Okay? Good. So thank you for that. Okay, that was the English task, because we had to go in a little bit more detail. Some of you actually got 1 or 2 word answers, which weren't long enough. I wanted a little bit more explanation. Now, if you see a screen like this, where you have to type your answers in, feel free to type. Now, if it was a long essay, then I would say that it's a long essay, but, you know, it's just one of those things, you know? So let me just quickly go to Elena. Hi, Lena. What were you saying, Lena? You want to read this?
Sorry?
Did you want to read?
Oh no, I was just asking, and I just asked a question in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm just asking what book this passage is from, or if it's from a book.
Okay. I see what you mean. Sorry, I would. I just saw the last bit of your message. I didn't actually read all of it.
Oh yeah.
To be honest with you, Elena, I don't have an answer to that. I don't
Okay.
know what.
Okay.
Said I would like to read it. I thought you meant this passage, so I got a little bit confused. So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but I'll find out from you. I'll find out for you. I'll try and get back to you by Monday. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good question. Thank you. Right. So let's go to maths. And have a look at some questions on multiplications. We'll spend only a few minutes on this. Just do a little bit of practice. So where are we? I'm on the wrong page actually. I need to go to Year 9 Maths. Now gone to Year 9 English. Okay, so you need a little bit of paper and working out there. Okay, so these questions, 93 times 4, these are pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to bypass these. We'll go on to the double-digit type of questions altogether. 308 times 4 is 1,232, and 825 times 3 is 2,475. Let's just bypass these. Okay, so we're just doing some double-digit practice, right? There's an example in front of you. On top, I think I left an example for you to do on the video as well. So we're just going to try and work out how we do this, how you work them out, whether you use a grid method or whether you actually work it out using long method. Let's go to Ayan for this one.
Hello?
Hi Ayan, you alright?
Hello. Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Ayan. Thank you. So how do you work these questions out, Ayan? Do you do the grid method or do you do the long method? Or
Yeah, I do the grid method. Yeah.
the grid method?
Yeah. Like that. No, like I mean that. So like you do 4 times 6 and then like
Okay, let's do it together then. So 4 times 6 is?
24.
Okay, 4 goes there, let's carry on 2.
And then 4 times 2 is 8. Add 2 is 10. Carry the 1.
Okay, so 4 times 2 is 8, add 2 is 10, so 0 goes there, carry the 1, yeah?
And then 4 times 1 is 4. Add 1 is 5. So it would be.
Good.
And then you could put a 0 underneath the 4.
Okay.
And 6 times 1 is 6.
Yeah.
2 times 1 is 2.
Yeah.
1 times 1 is 1.
And just add these up.
4 add 0 is 4, and then 6 add 0 is 6, and then 5 plus 2 is 7, and then 1.
So 1764, so 1,764, is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lovely. Let's go for that one then. Brilliant. Okay, let's do one more. Thank you very much, Ian.
That's all right.
Speak to you later. Let's go to Jessica for this one. Hi, Jessica. Are you right?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so do you want me to do it this way or another way?
This.
This way? Okay, go ahead then.
The 3 times 6 is 8.
Yeah.
And then 1 times 6 is 6. No, 7.
Yeah, so 1 times 6 is 6, add the 1 is 7. Just speak up a little bit, please, Jess.
4 times 6 is 24.
Okay, so 6 times 3 is 18, carry on the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, add the 1, which is 7. 6 times 4 is 24. Cool. So what should I put underneath the 8?
0.
A 0. Okay, well done.
And then 3 times 2 is 6. And then 1 times 2 is 2. And then 4 times 2 is 8. Equals 10.
So 8 add zeros. Let's do it one at a time. Yeah, carry on.
13.
Yep.
7. And then 10.
Good. So 10,738. Well done. Okay, good. Thank you very much for that, Jessica. Let's go to somebody else. Let's have Mide.
Hello.
How you doing, Mide?
Good, thank you.
How are you feeling now?
Better.
Good girl. Go on, Mide. Fire away.
9 times 1 is 9. 0 times 1 is 0. And 3 times 1 is 3. And then you add a 0 underneath the 9. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry the 5. 0 times 6 is 0. Add the 5 is 5. And 3 times 6 is 18. And then you add them. 9 add 0 is 9. 4 add 0 is 4. 5 add 3 is 8. And then 18.
18,849. Good. Thank you for that, Mide.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to Usaid. Usaid, if your camera's working, let's have a look. Hi, Usaid, are you there? So, okay, I'll come back to you in a minute because I can't hear you properly. All right? I'll come back to you. Let's go to Farhana. Hello, Farhana.
Hello.
Hi there. So let's do this. So 847 multiplied by 53. Go ahead.
So 3 times 7 is 21.
Yep.
3 times 4 is 12. Add 2 is 14.
Yep. And one carry forward, yep.
3 times 8 is 24. Add 1 is 25.
Yep. Got it.
5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 4 is 20. Add the 3 is 23. 5 times 8 is 40. Add the 2 is 42.
1 add 0 is 1. 4 add 5 is 9. 5 add 3 is 8. 2 add 2 is 4. And 4 add 0 is 4.
Good. So 44,891. Very good. Thank you, Farhana. Let's go to Mussolini. Mussolini, you changed your name on there. I was looking for something else before. Good. So, Mussolini, we're just going to answer this question. 967 multiplied by 79. Can you do this for me?
Yeah. 7 times 9. 7 times 9 is 63. Um, 9 times 6 is 54. And then that's 60 with the 6.
Yep.
Then 9 times 7 is 9 times 9 is 81. Add 6, 81, 87.
Yeah, good lad.
And then put the 0 there.
Yeah.
And do 7 times 7, which is 49. And 7 times 6 is 42, 46. And then you do 9 times 7, which is 63, add the 6. 69.
Try that again. So, sorry, I didn't hear you. So 7 times 9 is?
7 times 9 is 63.
Yeah.
Add the 4.
Yeah.
Which is 63. 67.
67. Okay, that's better. Okay, go ahead.
3 add 0 is 3. 9 add 6 is 15. 7 add 6 is 13. Add 1, which is 14. 8 add 7 is 15. Add 1, which is 16. And then 6 add 1, which is 7, which is 76,453.
76,453. Okay, let's just go through it one more time. Because either you made a mistake or I've made a mistake. Let's just go through it one more time, right? Follow me and tell me where the mistake is. So 9 times 7 is 63. 3 goes in the box. 6 is carried forward, right? And 9 times 6 is 54. So 54 add 6 is 60.
The 0. You need to change the
0. Okay, got it. Perfect. Right. Anything else? So 9 times 6, okay, we know it's 54, add 6 is 60. So
Yeah.
0 goes in the box, 6 is carried forward. 9 times 9 is 81. What's 81 add 6?
87.
Well done, okay. First line is right, okay? So let's go on to the second number now. 7 times, so 0 goes underneath 3. 7 times 7 is?
49.
Well done. So 9 goes in the box and 4 is carried forward. And 7 times 6 is?
7 times 6 is 42.
And then 42 add 4.
46.
Yeah, 6 goes in the box and 4 is carried forward. Well done. And the last one, 7 times 9 is?
63.
Add
67.
4.
And 67.
67, well done. Okay, good. Let's just add these up.
3 add 0 is 3. 0 add 9 is 9. 7 add 6 is 13. Add 1, which is 14. 8 add 7 is 15. Add 1, which is 16. 6 add 1 is 7. 76,393.
Well done, good boy. Well done. Excellent. It's a little bit daunting, isn't it, when you're actually doing it in a live class as opposed to if you're doing it at home, which probably is a little bit easier. But that was a hard question there, so you did very well there, Musali. Well done for you. Okay, good. We'll just stop there. And remember, a lot of students end up using calculators when they do homework. I know that, Omiza. And that's one of the reasons why we actually do these working out questions while we're in class, because everybody has to have a go at actually working them out one by one. That's the whole point. So in terms of using calculators, for questions like this, try and practice them more at home, all right? Because it's all about mental arithmetic and mental brain power as well. So try and refrain from using calculators and try and work them out on a piece of paper on your head. Best practice. Okay, good. So thank you very much, everybody, for this class. Wonderful. We covered English and maths. I'm sorry that I couldn't ask a few of you questions today. Elena, you didn't get a chance to do any maths today, but we'll carry on next lesson as normal, okay? Thank you, and have a nice weekend, and I will send you homework links later on tonight. Look after yourself. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.